All right, everybody. Today we're going to check out Wonderskin. Everything they did for Black Friday over the last few years, what their offers look like, what their cadence was, and even some of what they put out on social media. So we'll jump right in and take a look at what they're doing. If you don't know Wonderskin, they're a lip stain, is how they started. So it's something that goes on dark, peel it off or wipe it off, and it gives you like a red color or something like that. But they've also moved into regular skincare, also all different kinds of makeup products and things like that. And so they have a pretty wide range of products now, based in London. One marketing campaign that you might remember them from was actually their avocado color lip stain. So like it went on, the color of avocado was actually a partnership with Chipotle, and then it faded or wiped off into the red stain color. So the whole concept was that it's burrito proof because like lip stain doesn't come off when you touch it or anything like that. It stays on. So let's go ahead and jump in there and start looking at what Wonderskin has been doing. So we've got 3 years worth of Black Friday stuff here for you. We've got 2024, 2023, and 2022. Let's go ahead and jump back into 2022 and start there. So one thing that I have actually kind of noticed over these couple of years is that they've progressively gotten less aggressive with their Black Friday email strategy, or at least in the last year or so, they really toned down what their emails are. And so you can see here, 2022, they were sending a ton of emails. So they actually follow what I typically recommend for brands, which is, you want to start previewing the sale as early as the beginning of the month. And so you can kind of see that there are, already these kind of deals and whatnot that they're focusing in on. And so while it might not be exactly their Black Friday, they have some sort of like pre-sale that's happening. This is something that can be done to your entire list. It can be done to your VIPs, or it could just be something that you are putting together for a very certain product, or a group of a collection of products or something like that. So whatever you do, it's a great way to start to engage the list early on in the month to get people opening, to increase the size of your engaged subscribers, because if people are opening or clicking or getting to the website, they're going to start to fall into that engaged segmentation that you put together around Black Friday. So they're starting early, and then you can really see we've got the dates up here. Right around Black Friday, everything really starts to pick up. So we've got the 10th to the 15th after their launch, which they had 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Then we have a 4-day break, and then it's nonstop. 15th, 16th, 18th, 19th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 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 26th, 27th, 27th, 28th, 28th, 29th, 30th. So into the back half of the month, there's an email, if not two or three, every single day. And this if you have the list size to support this, it's something that I highly recommend doing. It's very rare that you're not going to be able to make up that type of revenue if you have a list of 50. I'd say around 50K is kind of the minimum with like engaged subscribers that I would want to see for an every single day kind of strategy like this. But what you can do is you can find, the whole goal is to find different ways to present the sale. You can run different sales throughout that, which we'll look at here as well, where it could be something for the front half of the sale, and then for the back half, it's something different. A different Black Friday versus Cyber Monday sale. But let's look specifically at what Wonderskin did. So Angel Friday. So instead of it being Black Friday, they did this whole Angel Friday with a partnership with Lipstick Angels. And so, it's an early access, a 40% off discount, and a free full-size mascara. But they also are giving away, so the whole Lipstick Angels portion is that it's a giveaway. 10% of all website proceeds on the 25th of November will go to Lipstick Angels, a charity which works with women battling and recovering from cancer. So they tried to do a little bit of like a give back here, and this is something that I've actually noticed with Wonderskin across the board, is that they are a little bit against the grain as far as the things that they do. I mean, a green lip liner or a lip stain, that's a clear indication that they think a little bit differently. They like their marketing to be a little bit different. The brand is a little bit different, right? And so, I like that they are not just falling into the like sale. It allows you to give another little bit of push as to why people are buying in this period, or make people feel maybe a little bit less bad about the consumerism of of the sale period, by feeling like there's going to be a little bit more good done with the purchases that they have. Um, so that's one option, as well as if you have any kind of partnerships like that, really focusing in on that and using that as a talking point. But also, Black Friday is a great time to launch products as well, which we saw they had a pre-launch for this, charming, and then inside they have their new holiday gift sets. They have their new Wonder Blading top glosses. So they're still launching throughout this period. So this is something that I think is done really well. Is that the sale is not necessarily the only thing they're talking about. It's the sale and new products. So there's a reason to be opening some of these. So a new gift sets. A new gloss topper. And then we really start to hit the sale around the actual dates that it's going on. And so again, they have a general and early access, another great way to split up your list. If you have people that have signed up for early access, it could be VIPs, or just like what they're doing here is just like clicking to join, so that way they're engaging with the email, and getting them into their own segment, so people can start jumping in early. But then in general, it's the 40% off and free full size mascara. But still talking about new products. And then we get into actual Black Friday, and you can see here they have 3 emails on the actual day. Again, something I really recommend, a morning, even if it's just 2, and it could even be the same email where you send it in the morning and then you send it in the evening, which actually, our last Black Friday breakdown was Lemmy. And they did all that exactly. So it was the same email in the morning and the same email in the evening, but just with 2 different subject lines. But what you can see here is that they have 3 different emails. This is a great way to reduce the bandwidth of creating all those emails, is to send a plain text offer email in the middle of the day as well. Something a little bit different, kind of a pattern interrupt, versus all the flashy sales and everything that are going on for Black Friday. So, something that I would really recommend on the days, because you'll see that over here with actual Cyber Monday as well, where they have 2 emails going out, and then another 2 emails on Tuesday, because this is typically the end of the sale period, where people will do the whole like sale extended, and so you have two on the last day of the actual sale as well. So as far as cadence goes, I would say A+ for them. They have the list size to support something like this. They even kept it really fresh between the 3 different emails on when they're sending multiple times per day. As far as the offer goes around Cyber Monday, nothing really changed as far as it's still 40% off, free mascara. They used new products as the way to really keep the momentum going. And so just remember that, you do need something that isn't just going to be like, you don't just want to say the same thing over and over and over again. You need to find another way to make it interesting. You can kind of think, a great analogy would be like the 12 days of Christmas or something like that, where it's like, it's a different kind of gift or a different offer. And I'm not saying you need a different one for every single day, but just something to keep it exciting, right? Something to have a little bit of a reason for them to open or come back to the site, even if they've already made a purchase. The one thing to not do, though, which we did see with Lemmy, and I brought this up as a flag, is that don't start at 40% off and then on Monday switch it to 50% off, because you're going to have a bunch of angry customers coming and saying, hey, I want the 50% off. And you're just going to have a customer service nightmare of trying to fulfill all those refunds. So finding some way to, maybe it's a different free gift on the second half. Maybe it's a different categories on sale. So you start with certain things, and then Cyber Monday, a separate category on your site has the discounts applied. So if you can come up with interesting ways to keep it fresh, you're going to get a little bit more traction out of the content that you create. So let's go to 2 years ago. So this is 3 years ago. 2 years ago, again, they hit the sale period pretty hard. And the offer is actually exactly the same, 40% off, but instead this time it's a limited edition black vinyl lip stain mask. Um, so they've got the whole sale going on, with a free gift, and theirs is, the one thing with them that they don't say is, and something that you can be using as well, is that you can say 40% off if you have some things that are 40% off, right? So, for them, it's specifically their holiday sets. So these are like full priced, large boxes. So it's a higher AOV product, so they can get away with that. Whereas, there's kind of these the different products that are 15, 20, or 30% off. And so lead with your largest and the gift. And that's a good way to kind of position where you are. But if we look at the actual cadence here, they started on the 17th, which I think is even a little bit earlier than the year before, as far as, yeah, they kind of started Black Friday stuff on the 18th. Yeah, so a day earlier. And then as far as the cadence here goes, you have the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 23rd, 24th, 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 25th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. So yeah, they ran a similar cadence here of, quite a few emails over the Black Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday period. So we're looking at, 2 on Black Friday, or actually that would be the day before. So that would be actual Thanksgiving, 3 on Black Friday, 2 on Sunday, Monday. Oh, here we go. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so we have, a few different, a little bit, pretty much the same cadence here. And so let's dig in a little bit more. They were really clear about the different products and the exact discount there. So maybe they got a little bit of feedback from that last time. They're still using the plain text email strategy as well, but there is a heavier leaning on urgency. So you're getting the timers in here. They had a couple like 24 hours left and things like that, but I think there's actually even 2 timers. I think there's a timer leading up to it as well of when it's going to start. Or maybe that was the next year. But they are kind of jumping on the limited time access. But as you can see, as far as the design system goes, they're reusing assets pretty frequently. They're not, this is exactly the same as that, just with a different paragraph below it. Again, the same thing. They're sticking to this alternating block scheme. And this is actually the same as what we looked at before. So there's a lot of it's well done in cadence and reduction in the amount of like workflow that's actually going into it, because they're not going too hard on how they actually it's not too difficult to put these types of assets together if you're planning them all together. But again, feedback is kind of the same. It's after the first or second email here, there's really not much that is enticing to come back. And so once you are if you're sending this frequently, I would want to see a little bit more variety in the offers or the way that they're positioning it, or the gift or something like that could alter, or give you something else to talk about in that period. So that's just some feedback there and something to consider in your own planning. Let's go to last year's and take a look. So the interesting thing I found with last year's is that at least it might just be that Mild is maybe not as doesn't have as many emails in their database for them for last year. I'm not really sure on how that happens, but it might have been even that Wonderskin is like reduced the amount that they're seeing, or maybe they're not subscribed to something in particular. So I wanted to go and figure out what they were actually running, because as far as what we found, there's only the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. So 1 email a day. Their tagline for this one was "Brown is the new black," and they are really focused in on the actual gift sets. So that's one big change here, is that they are not focusing in on any individual product discounts. It's all the sets, and they're 40% off. And so, that makes a little bit of sense that, especially in the last year or so, margin is getting squeezed even more than we've seen in previous years. And so being really safe about how they package their products in this sale period is going to be pretty logical. And so they're stepping into, which can be a strategy for you, is that rather than just feeling like it's required for you to put together a sale and give a super deep discount, even if it's not going to make sense for your business. How do you bundle your products in a way that you can give a discount and still make, the AOV is high enough that you're going to be able to recover that and still profit in some area? You never be making sales just to be making sales. It always needs to have profit at the end of it. And so, yeah, they are, still gift sets are really where they are. There's a lot of talking in here about giving season. It's giving season. That's cute. And so they're really looking at gifts, because that's another way to get people to purchase more than one, is to get a little bit deeper and find something to be giving to all your friends and get your stuff done as soon as possible. But a couple other things I found as well. So one offer they had running that I didn't see an email for is you can get your Black Friday order for free. So take advantage of the 40% off and the free lip liner. But they're randomly refunding 20 orders placed in the next 24 hours just because. Comment what you purchased and we'll DM you if you're one of the lucky ones. So there was that on there. And they were, very commonly, there was a lot more posting about their Black Friday on socials, which makes sense because that's where the majority of their traffic comes from. And so I pulled a few different things from Instagram and TikTok if you want to look through in here as well. They have the 40% off with the different gift packs still. And then the one other thing I noticed as well, aside from the refund thing, is that they also had a competition going for their influencers. So it was required for you to be an actual, an affiliate with them, but they were doing a giveaway, win an amazing rewards just in time for the festive season, including a Birkin bag. So between the 11th and 24th, they were doing people that were posting about Wonderskin could get rewarded as well. So this was a great learning in that, when you can't find the information in certain areas, go and, it takes a little bit more time because you got to scroll through and find it on Instagram and TikTok. But, you can, this is really it. These stay on the profile for a long time. So we could even go back to probably 23 and 22 to see what all of the sales and things and how people are treating them. But it's just a reminder that what you're doing in email needs to be reflected in your socials and vice versa. There should be a very common golden thread, as I call it, that whether you're coming from socials or coming from email, the subject line, the hook on TikTok, the banner on your website, the hero image in the actual email, the CTA and what's seen on the actual PDP should just be the same. It needs to be something that people are able to latch onto what the offer is. It's not too confusing. It's direct and simple, because simple scales and complex fails. So just a reminder, if you're thinking about your Black Friday strategy right now, and you're trying to put your stuff together, remember that there should be a common golden thread that you're able to string between all of the different assets that you have, and that they should all reflect that same messaging that you want to put together. Because it might feel overwhelming to you, or that you've seen it over and over and over again, that it feels stale. But remember, they're not going to see more than a fraction of the type of stuff that you put together. And so making sure that you're sticking to that messaging and beating people over the head with it a little bit is going to make sure that it actually sticks. But yeah, some great insights here from the Wonderskin emails and social stuff. So you have access to this. Come in, jump into it. Let me know what you think if you have any questions, and we'll have some more Black Friday content coming out for you guys soon. And just as a reminder, we have a bunch of these breakdowns on our site, flowcandy.com/breakdowns. So if you want to check those out, feel free. And if not, we'll see you next time.